Hey guys, it's Carolyn from Homesteading Family, and we've been talking a lot over the last few weeks about the different chore times that we have throughout our day in our household to make our house run smoothly, even with a lot of people here all day and a lot of production happening of different things. But today we are going to be talking about the final chore time that we have in the day, and that's what we call dinner chores. Dinner chores are just chores that happen before dinner. They don't necessarily have anything to do with dinner. But if you remember how we talked about a few weeks ago, one of the best ways to manage chore times especially with children, but for all of us, even for us adults, is to do chores right before something like a meal so that everybody has a reason to want to get done with your chores and wrap it up and get to that next thing, which would be a meal or something else that's rewarding. That way you don't have to nag. You can just call dinner time, and if they don't show up on time or they don't show up before the dinner is done, then they miss it, and they learn really, really quickly, all of us do, to get those chores done, stop lollygagging, and get to the table so that they can enjoy a great time of family togetherness at the dinner table. Some of the chores that we do in the evenings right before dinner time, usually about an hour before dinner time, generally we aim for about a 6 o'clock dinner in the evening. Now again, we don't use the clock as our master, we use it as a tool. So we aim for about a 6 o'clock dinner, which means we start chores right about 5 o'clock p.m. And some of the chores that we do right at that 5 o'clock time are, of course, we have our animal chores, taking care of our animals in the evening. And again, it's just a great life lesson to learn that we take care of the people and the things who are dependent on us before we take care of ourselves. So we make sure our animals have dinner before we eat dinner. That's just a good policy in general. Now, of course, there's times where there's exceptions to that, but you know, it's a good general policy to set. So we do animal chores in the evening. Another set of evening chores we do is pick up around the yard, especially where the kids play. We have dump trucks and bikes. There's a trampoline out there where people take off sweaters and jackets and shoes and all sorts of things. And so somebody has the evening chore to go pick up around the yard. Now, I do want to add that if one person is being excessively messy regularly, then we call them out to clean up their own stuff. We don't depend on that one person who has the chore of cleanup to clean up after somebody who's just being very excessively messy. Instead, they're just picking up the little bits of things that get kind of left aside, the dump truck that gets left out or the tricycle, and they're helping to clean up after the little people who maybe aren't as aware of putting their things back as some people are, the older people are. Another dinner chore that we have, which has helped us tremendously, is what I call my dinner apprentice. My dinner apprentice is somebody who's usually in the 8 to 12, maybe even 14 range, who's learning the basics of how to keep a kitchen running, how to make basic foods for our meals. I usually start them by learning how to prepare and cook vegetables and the starches of the meal. So maybe the potatoes, the rice, the quinoa, whatever it is that we're having alongside the meals. Oh, and a salad. So they start off learning those basic skills. I start by walking them through it. And then before very long, I expect them to be able to make rice all by themselves, or at least get it started. We usually start with brown rice, cooked brown rice, so that takes our full hour. I can have then a 10-year-old child run ahead once they've been trained and go ahead and get that rice started before we get into the kitchen together to start the main prep of the meal. This just helps so much because not only do you have an extra set of hands in the kitchen, somebody to do some of the work alongside of you, like washing the vegetables, chopping the vegetables, starting the rice or the potatoes, but you're also training somebody in the art of cooking meals for a large family or just for your family. So I have done this now for a couple years and have found it to be a wonderful thing. And it's something I highly recommend to you Bring your children alongside you as a actual chore, a thing that they're expected to be at every evening, to be part of the dinner prep and to be learning skills that you can then pass on to them and make them responsible for in subsequent times of making dinner, so that they can be learning how to cook in the kitchen. That's a skill everybody should have. It'll help you in the kitchen as the adult, and it will help them for their entire life. So that is how we run our evening or dinner chores in our household. Some of the chores, some of the older children do chores to watch the little children in the evening. That way, when we start getting to that 5 o'clock hour, where the little kids are starting to get fussy, maybe they're getting a little tired, a little grumpy, a little bit hungry, we have somebody who can give them baths, take them out for a special walk, to go on an adventure, to go check out the animals or go up to the garden. They take them out to do something fun and something that they couldn't do on their own or that we're not doing during the school day. And this frees me up to be able to work with my dinner apprentice to really make a great dinner for the family, to get it onto the table by about 6 o'clock in the evening. So evening chores can be a great way to wrap up your day, make sure the house is prepared for an evening, pre-do any kitchen cleanup that needs to be done. That's one thing that we like to do with our dinner apprentices, is I teach them that we serve dinner on serving dishes instead of in pots or pans just taken to the table, so that we can wash our pots and pans before we ever get to the table. That way there's just a quick cleanup on a serving dish instead of a scrub on a pot or a pan. By doing these different things, we end up being able to transition into a relaxing evening much more quickly and much more smoothly. Next week, I'm going to take you through how this all comes together in our day and what our day looks like when we put together all these different chore sets, so that you can get a broader picture of that chore set. Now, we're kind of moving on from the chore topic here, and we're getting ready to transition to other topics, and we'd love to keep talking about the homestead management, home management, but I would love to get your guys' feedbacks on what in particular are you struggling with in your household to keep it running smoothly. Maybe it's laundry, maybe it's dishes, what you would like me to discuss with you as to how we do it in our house. Now, we're not perfect and we don't have everything dialed in just right, but we do have a lot of experience in keeping our household running during very busy, productive seasons. So I'd love to be having those discussions with you guys. Take care and enjoy.